This is the Napoleonic cannon, and the brilliant commander uses this weapon to employ the famous war strategies in the battlefield, such as defeat in detail and concentration of force. It works when gunpowder cartridges are loaded into the muzzle, followed by the iron ball secured in place with a wad. To ignite it, they pierce the cartridge with a pricker, allowing the gunpowder to escape through the vent. When it ignited, the gunpowder bag exploded, forcing the iron ball out. Napoleon was such a great battlefield commander that it took almost 12 kingdoms or countries to attack or attempt to destroy his legacy. Around noon, 90 French cannons opened fire against the main Allied line. After the betrayal by his own soldiers and Napoleon's whereabouts was discovered by the Prussian army, that quickly redirected its forces against the French. We will also explore the step-by-step process of firing this Napoleonic cannon in the American Civil Wars used by both parties. So stay tuned and don't miss a beat. This is how Napoleon's strategy essentially worked. Let's consider a scenario where you have only 10,000 men to fight against a formidable enemy boasting 20,000 well-trained soldiers armed to their teeth. His response to such a daunting scenario was not mere recklessness. It was a calculated approach known as defeat in detail. This method involved the tactical advancement and division of forces with cannons, a hallmark of Napoleon's military brilliance. In response, the enemy mirrored this dispersion, scattering their troops and fortifying each town. In warfare, especially as the attacking force, numerical superiority is the linchpin of potential victory. A direct mass assault on all fronts would yield unfavorable odds of 2,500 French soldiers versus 5,000 opposing forces. Napoleon's mastery unveiled itself in a subtle yet pivotal maneuver on the brink of battle. He orchestrated a concentration of forces, strategically thinning the front lines while targeting a singular, ideally the weakest point of attack to annihilate the enemy. The moment of contact with the adversary became an orchestration of concentrated force. Due to the enemy's dispersed arrangement, they set themselves up for individual defeat, allowing Napoleon to engage only a fraction of their forces, not the entire army. Central to the success of this strategy was the swift maneuverability of capable forces, enabling them to outmaneuver the enemy before their strategy was unveiled. Speed was the catalyst for surprise, an essential element ensuring victory. Napoleon's campaigns stand as a testament to his consistent triumph over superior forces. The Napoleon cannon consists of distinct parts that contribute to its functionality. At the forefront lies the muzzle, intricately designed with a swell that facilitates the expulsion of hot gases upon firing the cannon. Enclosed within this section is the bore, crafted from cast iron, crucial for maintaining the cannon's structural integrity and optimizing its performance. At the termination point resides the vent field, a vital component responsible for enabling the ignition process. This field is pierced from above using a sharp metal pick, puncturing the flannel bag and exposing the gunpowder. This meticulously orchestrated action allows for instant ignition by the primer, ensuring swift and precise firing capability. For weight considerations, Napoleonic land-based field guns were primarily constructed from bronze, although some older iron guns were also utilized. Interestingly, this cannon requires a crew of 10, or in certain cases, 15 soldiers and 4 horses were required to keep this cannon fully functional in the battlefield. Let's take a look at how this works. Step 1. The gunner selects the appropriate ammunition, estimates the range, and calculates the effect of wind on the shot, all of which he executes almost instinctively. Step 2. Initially, a person blocks the vent, either with their thumb or a stopper, preventing sparks from entering the barrel during the loading phase. Step 3. The barrel is subsequently cleansed by pushing a sponge attached to a stick. This is done to extinguish any embers and warmed to eliminate debris. Step 4. Each ammunition round comprises 3 components: a flannel bag containing 2.5 pounds of black powder, a wooden disc called a sabot, and a 12-pound iron ball. These constituents are secured together using metal straps and cords. The entire assembly is then firmly pushed down the barrel, positioning the powder bag directly beneath the vent. Step 5. The gunner adjusts the sight by manipulating the stock trail, moving the gun laterally, and using a knob to elevate or depress the gun barrel. Following this, the gunner issues the order, grabs the sight, and moves away to observe the firing. Step 6. A sharp metal pick pierces the flannel bag from above, exposing the gunpowder for immediate ignition by the primer. This allows a hollow copper tube filled with a gunpowder compound. A twisted wire runs perpendicular through the tube. When the wire is pulled, friction ignites the priming powder, initiating the larger charge of gunpowder. The primer tube is thrust deep into the vent and held in place while the lanyard bears the strain. This creates an explosion that propels the iron ball at a speed of 250 miles per hour. Step 7. Upon the gunner's command, the entire sequence is repeated. Make no mistake, this Napoleonic cannon with a good gun crew could fire 4 aimed shots a minute. That is pretty fast during those times. In the older or original cannon, a specific firing technique was employed. First, a gunpowder cartridge was placed into the muzzle and then firmly pushed in using a ramrod. Following this, an iron ball was loaded as the shot. A pricker was then used to pierce the cartridge through the vent, allowing the gunpowder to spill. Instead of using a lanyard, a linstock was employed. This adaptation enabled the gunner to maintain a safer distance. Once ignited, the gunpowder bag will explode, propelling the iron ball at an incredible speed towards the intended target. Napoleon was such a great battlefield commander that it took almost 12 kingdoms or countries to attack or destroy his legacy. Imagine having the United Kingdom, the Austrian Empire, Kingdom of Prussia, Kingdom of Spain, Kingdom of Naples, Kingdom of Sicily, Kingdom of Sardinia, Dutch Republic, Russian Empire, the Ottoman Empire, Kingdom of Portugal, and the Kingdom of Sweden as your enemy. At their strongest, the coalition amassed a powerful force of around 1,740,000 soldiers, surpassing the 1.1 million French troops. The main forces were from Austria with 570,000, Britain with 250,000, Prussia with 300,000, and Russia with 600,000 soldiers. Aware of the looming threat of a coordinated invasion by the coalition, Napoleon understood the need for decisive action. Identifying the most accessible targets within the coalition, Napoleon pinpointed Prince Blucher's Prussian army and the Duke of Wellington's Anglo-Allied army, both encamped in Belgium. While Napoleon's forces could individually match either coalition army, the prospect of being heavily outnumbered by their union compelled him to keep them apart. His strategy relied on the principle of defeat in detail and concentration of force, as explained earlier. Napoleon's army crossed the frontier with the intention of driving a wedge between the two coalition forces. The battle began around 11 a.m. when Napoleon ordered a march against Wellington's right flank at Hougoumont. He hoped Wellington would commit his reserves here, drawing them away from the center where the main blow would fall. Around noon, 95 French cannons opened fire against the main Allied line. Most of Wellington's men were out of sight on the reverse slope, but many cannonballs still found their mark and damaged or injured many of Wellington's army. It was at this moment, at 1:30 p.m., Napoleon sent in his infantry. Reports indicated that Napoleon was betrayed by some members of the French army who relayed his plans to the Prussian generals. Upon learning Napoleon's whereabouts, the Prussian army swiftly redirected its forces against the French. In a pivotal moment on the battlefield, Napoleon found himself under attack from Wellington's forces in the front and the Prussians in the rear. In response, he summoned his last resort, the elite Imperial Guard, renowned as Europe's most feared troops. 3,500 battle-hardened veterans marched past Napoleon's battalion, crossing the battlefield toward the British soldiers. As Wellington's redcoats rose to face them, they unleashed devastating volleys of musket fire upon the advancing Imperial Guard. Word of the Imperial soldiers' defeat and rumors of Prussian encirclement swiftly spread through the French ranks, sparking panic that led to the army's retreat. Amidst the chaos, only Napoleon's old guard maintained discipline, engaging in a heroic but ultimately futile rear-guard action. It was in this moment of turmoil that Napoleon had to acknowledge defeat and face exile for the remainder of his life. We make original 4K 3D animation with a small team of animators, so please support us by subscribing and dropping in a comment for more exclusive engineering animations.